Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week, we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Hey.
We're going to drink some Abita today,
Yes.
which has been around for a while, but I never really pick them up, so I'm kind of excited about this.
Yeah, I know we say this a lot, especially with breweries that have been around a while, but this is definitely something that, because we don't really see it out at the bar very often
Correct.
as a choice, I can't recall the last time I've had it. And,
Yeah,
there's a lot of places where it's like, oh, every brewery or every bar has, XYZ kind of craft beer, mainstays. And this just isn't
Yeah,
one
it's
of
not a
those.
standard, which is interesting. But so Abita, if you don't know, it's from Abita Springs, Louisiana. So we're heading
All
south this time.
right. Yeah.
So we're gonna drink their Turbo Dog Brown Ale to start.
Let's do it. Turbo
Yeah,
Dog.
I like
I've
it.
probably had some Turbo Dog in my lifetime. I
That would be
don't
my
think I've
guess
had our
too.
second beer, and there's a lot of reasons why, but we'll get to that.
It's got a good aroma. I like it.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
Ooh, it's got a great head.
It
Nice,
does.
nice
Great
amber
head, good
color.
aroma. It's got a little kick to it, actually, like a little bit more
Georgia, take a sip.
flavorful of a brown ale. Yeah, give it a try. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Right? It's more
Yeah.
bold of a brown ale than probably the most recent one we've had, which I don't remember what it was, but often they're more kind of mellow. I feel like this is much more flavorful when you take a sip of it than some other brown ales are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's a very good description. That's a lot of what I would have also said about it.
I like it.
And yet, even though it's got some kick and it's a bit bold, I definitely could sit and drink a whole bottle of this
Oh yeah. No, it's
easily.
a great flavor. It's not that
Yeah.
it's a bad thing, it's just more flavorful than you would necessarily get of a typical brown ale. So it's actually kind of a nice and it's a nice taste to it. I like it.
Yes, I will enjoy sipping on this while
I
we
like that it's a little
converse.
different. It's not like a brown ale is kind of an in-between beer to me because it's not like a Pilsner or lager that are much lighter, but it's not
Right.
like super hoppy like an IPA. It's like a good in-between that has a lot of flavor, but is still kind of, smooth. It's a unique beer style, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's a good description too, because, and even I would even go a step further and say, also doesn't have any real similar qualities to like stouts and porters and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And I think that it would cover a lot of bases for people that are looking for something that's more universally appreciated,
I think this is an easy drinking beer too. A
Yeah.
lot of people when they see a darker beer are often put out by it because they think it's going to be like a stout or a porter or something like
Something
that. And this is
heavy and
it's got a
yeah.
great dark amber color to it, but it's a very still easy drinking beer.
Yeah,
So I like it.
absolutely.
Anyways,
Yeah.
all right, well, let's talk a little bit about Abita in general, and then we'll move on to our next beer and our next topic. But I didn't know much about Abita other than it was from Louisiana, so this was
Yeah, same.
new to me. So they're from Abita Springs, which hence the name Abita. Think you could have guessed that one.
Which I figured out, yeah, when
Yeah.
I looked at the bottle.
You're like, oh, that's why. So Abita is about 30 miles north of New Orleans, so it's very close.
Okay.
So it's in
I
like a
thought New Orleans. Like I always
yeah.
thought that Abita was from
I
New
always
Orleans.
associated Abita with New Orleans too. So it's close, but it is not New Orleans. And Abita is a small town. It's like less than
Okay.
5,000 people. Like it's not a big, a big area. But so it was founded in 1986. So that's why I say it's been around for a long time. It was actually the 13th registered craft brewery in the United States at the time, and the first in the South.
Wow.
So
Cool.
they were definitely, kind of breaking ground at the time when they opened. They started brewing at about 1,500 barrels. So, it's and they're where they originally started brewing, they wound up moving about 10 years later, up the street to a larger facility, but the original space that they started at is now their brew pub. So they're
Oh,
still there. It's just that's where their brew pub is. So kind of cool.
nice.
Kept all of the original, building and whatnot. Um, so in '86, it was founded by Jim Patton and William Rush Cummings. He went by Rush. Shortly thereafter, David Blossman and his brothers invested. Blossman is now the president of Abita, actually, and it's
Okay.
still owned by just a small group of local Louisiana investors. So people, over the years have invested to keep them afloat, I'm sure, especially when the early days. But so Jim and Rush started this. Patton was actually a PhD in anthropology before
Awesome.
he started the brewery.
Nothing
He was a
surprises me
right.
anymore.
He
It's
was a
like it
college
runs the gamut.
professor. Yeah.
We get a lot of finance
So
guys.
yeah,
It's like
totally
whatever.
crazy. Yeah. Well, Blossman was a CPA and then he got into the brewing business. But the original founders were Patton and Cummings. And Patton was
Okay.
a PhD in anthropology, a college professor, and eventually
Nice.
got into homebrewing, of course. And him and Rush started it. And then Jim Patton actually sold his stake in Abita relatively early on, back in the late 90s. And he went on to help kind of launch two or three other breweries after that. And his explanation for selling out of Abita was that he started the brewery brewing, and then he wound up after 10 years sitting behind a desk dealing with logistics and all that, and that's not what he wanted to do.
Right.
So
Sure.
sadly, he actually passed away in 2012, so he's not
Ooh.
doing any of that.
Okay.
So Rush was actually an avid woodworker. So
Okay.
he owned a
Fantastic.
construction company before starting the brewery and left the brewery. I'm not sure actually when, but wound up going back and doing architectural woodworking before he passed away in 2016. So both of the founders are no longer with us, but David Blossman, who was one of the first investors, is currently the president, and it's still owned, like I said, by a group of investors who invested early on, including the president and two of his brothers were some of the, I think they're still the majority stakeholders in the
Okay.
company. So but yeah, so they started back in '86 at 1,500 barrels. They're now brewing over 125,000 barrels of beer, but they also brew about 14,000 barrels of soda each year. So they make root
Oh,
beer
yeah.
and other
They make
pop.
root beer, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and cream soda, I think
Yep,
maybe.
they do. Yep, those are their two major soda flavors. So, yeah, so they pride themselves on quality ingredients, no preservatives, additives, things like that. Abita Springs was once a Choctaw indigenous settlement, and it's filled with natural freshwater wells. So they don't
Awesome.
do any treatment to any of their water. They just use their local water that they get for their beer, and it's
Cool.
tested and safe and all of that. The Choctaw believed that the water actually had natural healing powers, and Abita in Choctaw actually means healing waters. So
Oh,
that's what the name of the beer
wow.
is.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, kind of cool. So, couple other things about them. They've, since their opening, have always been very generous with charitable donations. They have all kinds of different beers that they brew and they donate proceeds. So all the way back from they had a beer called Save Our Shore, which was just called SOS. That was back all the way back from when the Deepwater Horizon oil platform exploded.
Oh, okay.
And so they've raised over $500,000 for a fund established to help rescue and restore the environment after that disaster. They
Wow.
also did one for Hurricane Katrina, called Restoration Ale, and they donated $550,000 to recovery efforts after Katrina. Um,
Nice.
they have a restoration pale ale, which was actually specifically for Abita Springs expansion of parks, playgrounds, pavilions, things like that locally, and it was over $100,000 that they donated just to that. And their towns, I think it's
Wow,
only had like 3,000 population or something. It's a small town.
that's
Re
awesome.
Resilience IPA was a collaboration in the most recent one with Sierra Nevada after the 2019 California wildfires to help with the
Oh, I think I
victims of
remember
that.
that.
So they
Mm-hmm.
did that, and then they have a regular beer that they regularly produce called Abbey Ale, and that's to support a local fund, which is the St. Joseph's Abbey and Seminary that is
Hmm.
right very close to them in Louisiana. So, but there's others too. Those are just some of them. You can actually go to their website and request donations for whatever
Oh,
cause that you want to try and contribute to, but they definitely are very very charitable, both locally and nationwide, it seems like. So,
nice.
but yeah, so they've been around for a while. I don't know much about them. I haven't had them much. I think a lot of their beer is bottled in glass bottles because they recycle the
Okay.
glass. So I think that they're very into sustainability and those kind of efforts. So a lot of their stuff, I don't think they're using many cans, which I think honestly the bottles are harder to distribute
Right.
than
That makes sense.
cans. So I don't think as many places necessarily are getting them. They do distribute to I think over 40 states at this point. So they're widely found. I just don't think as common as some other brands. So, but
Right.
yeah, so that's a
Okay.
beta for you.
That's great. That's cool. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, no problem. So, all right, let's talk
Mhm.
about what are you
Let's
talking
talk
about?
about birthday stuff, birthday
Birthdays.
party, birthday traditions, anything
I
and
like it.
everything birthday themed that we've touched on this over the years in like the capacity of like, getting stuck going to a birthday party where you don't know anyone and as an adult you just sit alone and they give you the most
Yeah.
pathetic slice of cake or whatever, which is a personal experience that I've had, which I still complain about, and it was like 5 years ago. But I
It
don't care.
stuck with you. It's okay. It's all
Yeah,
right.
it was a very pathetic slice of cake. But anyway, regardless, we're not talking about that kid's birthday. We're talking about
No.
my birthday.
Yes.
I did want to touch on some of my birthday traditions, I suppose, or plans or
Yeah, I wrote
something.
down some things about the adults in our household as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So for me, I share my birthday with my nephew.
mhm.
He just turned 16 to give
Oh
you
my
guys an
gosh.
idea of, yeah, where we're at mathematically between me and him. I turned 42 on December 8th and he turned 16. So we share a birthday, so we share a birthday celebration now that he's a little bit older and he isn't having like kids' birthday parties
Yeah.
anymore. So we always go to Fogo de Chão or
Hmm.
something like that. A year ago we went to Morton's instead, which was
Hmm.
great and everybody had a really good time and honestly it was wonderful. It's
Hmm.
just, very expensive.
Sure,
We
sure.
had to
Yeah.
do some literal like meal planning to like feed the children that were with us so that we weren't buying each kid a $75 steak at the restaurant.
Yeah, I
Like
totally get
my
that.
youngest doesn't really eat a lot of steak.
Hmm.
So we were like, well, let's get them something else. And they have chicken and they have seafood and they have stuff like that. And we were just like, ugh,
Yeah.
like trying to
But
figure
they're
out what
all
to get
like
for him. They're
big
still they're
dinners
still
and they're,
very expensive
yep,
and so
totally
we
get
had
it.
to kind of like made this little plan to eat there to
Hmm.
try to save money, which we didn't
No.
because my father, this was one of our last meals together as a family, but my father had decided without telling us that he was going to order everything that they had. And I
Uh,
respect that decision in
yeah,
hindsight.
yeah. In
But
hindsight,
at
I
the
totally
time, we were
respect
all
that
just sort of
decision.
like,
What the
what are you
heck?
doing?
Yeah.
Why are you getting all this food?
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, so that was very expensive, but we commonly go to Fogo de Chão. And we ended up going to the one in downtown Chicago for the last birthday
Okay.
celebration about a month ago. It was food wise and service wise, it was top notch. It was
Hmm.
great. I've had complaints in the past about the ones in the suburbs. There's so
Yeah.
many Fogo de Chãos in the
They're
Chicagoland area
everywhere
now.
now. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Hmm.
There's two within a half an hour of where I live, which is
Yeah.
like weird.
Seems like a lot,
Um,
right? In
It seems
such
like a lot. And
small area.
if you tack on another 15 minutes, there's also one in Rosemont. So like
Yeah. So there's a
it's
lot.
weird that there are so many. My
Mhm.
husband and I used to go to the one in Chicago when I lived in the city. Once in a rare while we would go,
Sure,
just the
sure.
two of us, and always really enjoyed it and kind of pushed for everyone to go downtown for the birthday this year. Food
Hmm.
was great, service was great. The trip down there took
Hmm.
forever. My
Yeah.
oldest, I think, actually reached the point of being so hungry he started to not feel well. Um,
Oh,
and he doesn't, that's not great. We don't need him to be
yeah.
having feelings like that. So I felt pretty bad. It was just
Yeah.
bad luck. It just took
Yeah.
too long. And so then even in the meal, he was better, but he
Hmm.
just was kind of still
Once you
not
hit
great.
that point, you're kind of like it's hard to come back
Yeah.
from. So I totally get it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think he would tell you he did not have a good time.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I feel
Yeah, it's
bad
probably
about.
accurate. Yeah. Mm.
I think in retrospect, we talked about not going on a Friday night because you run into the situation where people
So
are leaving the
Friday
city
nights are the worst day
to
to get
go
into the
downtown.
city. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. We do it too often. I'm not sure why
Yeah,
we do
but
it.
I don't know why.
It's the
Like
worst possible
even
day to drive into the
even
city.
Saturday night is better. Like
Better.
even just
Agreed.
go on
Totally.
Saturday night. Like
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Friday
Why
is
are
the
you
worst.
conflicting with everybody coming and
Yeah.
going from a work day
Yeah.
in addition to,
Any
people
other
heading
events that are
in?
in the city and all
And
that. And
yeah, there's
Friday nights
always
are
like a sports team
the
playing. There's
worst traffic. Yeah.
always, yeah,
Hmm.
it was just we just
Agreed.
not great planning.
Yeah.
So in
Fair.
hindsight, if we did go back into the city for a family meal, we would probably shoot for a Saturday night
Dude, you
or a
should do a
Sunday
Saturday
night
at
even.
lunch. They're
Or
cheaper at lunch. 2 for
yeah, that's true.
lunch.
We could do
I
well,
would
and
recommend.
Fogo's
Anyways.
actually has brunch on Sundays,
Oh,
and
I
they
didn't know
do,
this.
yeah, yeah. We should talk
Oh,
about that at
okay.
a
This is
future
yes.
time. But
Okay.
they actually do have brunch, and they have like an omelet station,
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
I know,
Oh, okay.
I know.
This is gonna have to be a thing.
My husband and my nephew didn't know that, and recently it came up, and
I'm
my
writing
husband was
it
just kind
down
of like,
so I
"Why are we
don't
not
forget.
going to Fogo's for
Why?
brunch?"
Yeah, why are
Like,
we not? Like,
I don't
even
know,
my
man.
kids would like that.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I'm
it's
all for this.
it
Okay.
sounds really cool,
I'm
and they have it at
adding
all of
this to
them.
the
You don't have to
schedule.
go downtown. They have it in
Yeah.
Naperville.
I
Like,
don't love the Naperville one. I probably would even go farther and drive to Rosemont,
yeah,
honestly.
I
Like,
if I
it's
have
just
to
not my
rank
favorite.
them, I
Which is
would put
totally a first world problem, by the
I
way.
know. I
Yeah.
would put Lombard or Oak Brook. It's
Oh,
in Oak
Oak
Brook.
Brook,
I
Oak
would put
Brook.
Oak
Yeah.
Brook as my last. I do not like that
Really?
one. I
Okay.
don't not. It's the
Yeah.
newest one. I do not like it. I feel
Mm,
like they don't care that I'm there, first of all. And
yeah,
they
that's no
should,
good. They should care. They
because
should
I
always care.
bring the
I'm
sign stop
giving you
crew
money
most of the
too.
time.
Like, come on,
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
I don't know. The service just isn't good.
Okay.
The food is just okay. Last time I went to Naperville, I just went with my one friend, and it was
Hmm.
very good. I was actually very pleased.
Okay. All right.
Um,
I will.
and I haven't been to Rosemont in long enough. It's
I
hard for me
haven't,
to
yeah, I
say.
haven't
It's just
been
been a
to
long
that one in
time.
quite a while. So, anyways, okay, continue. So we
So
always do, you
that's
always do
usually
that
what I
for
do
your
for
birthday.
my
Yes.
birthday. The only other thing that we kind of have floating around is and you know about this, I've sort
Mhm.
of been talking about a 50th birthday trip in 8
Yeah.
years, so we have
Yeah.
some time.
We're
But
planning.
and I keep secretly wishing it was my 45th birthday instead.
I mean, we could
Um,
do it. There's
yeah,
no rules here. There's
yeah,
no
we're not going to
rules.
rule anything
Okay.
out, Lauren. I mean, you
Yeah,
and
I'm
I
not
know how this
I'm not
works. We've
ruling
had
any
these
of this out.
conversations.
Yeah.
But I like have this dream idea of going to Italy for my 50th birthday, probably in spring or fall, not in December.
Yeah, no.
And
And not in the
staying,
middle of summer also. So,
oh
yeah.
heavens, no.
Got
Oh
to be
no. I'm not
one of the other
sweating
seasons. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
bunch.
Okay.
Going to Tuscany and staying in the country and drinking wine and taking a cooking class and staying
Sounds
on a
amazing.
vineyard and
Hmm.
doing that. There's also some places in southern Italy that I've never really visited that are supposed to be awesome for like a group.
Fantastic.
You rent a house, you stay by the beach,
Sounds perfect. Yeah, and I've been to
and
Rome and Florence and all that, so I don't have to go back there.
well, and as well, I appreciate the idea of doing touristy things while I'm there. I've also been there many times. I
Right.
would be very happy to see some of my friends who maybe haven't cap a few days on at the beginning or
Hmm.
the end.
Sure.
I'd even be willing to join for a day or two somewhere if they wanted to kind of check something
Yeah.
out. But I would prioritize kind of just chilling out and enjoying food and wine, which
I
is,
think the Italian
what I love the
countryside
most.
sounds like a great 45th birthday.
45th birthday plan. I'm going to cross it out. I wrote 50. Let me write 45.
We could
And
find
we'll do
somewhere
that.
else for 50. You just don't know.
Yeah,
we
for
got
50,
time.
we'll go to the French Polynesia.
Yeah, well,
I've always wanted to go there too.
great.
It's a bit of a hike, though.
Either that or we can be the youngest people on our German river cruise at 50.
I still don't know why more people my age do not do that.
I'll do it. I talked to my husband. We're in. So we
Oh,
could
yeah,
do
my
that
husband is in
for
too. I mean, that's
for
actually
our 50ths.
Yeah,
Because you guys most of us turn 50 within like 6 months of each other. So we could just make that be our
Yeah, that
50th
is fine. Let's put
celebration.
that on the docket as
Okay.
well. I love that
I like
for
it.
us.
I do.
Anyway,
I like that for us too.
do you have
Okay,
birthday
yes.
traditions for yourself or anything like that?
So for my husband, we always go out to just me and him, to a nice steak dinner in the city. So we've, gotten through a lot of the Chicago land, not even
I
Chicago land,
saw this
Chicago.
year's. You went to Prime and Provisions. Is that right?
We did.
That I
Yes.
checked out their menu and I was like, wow, I eat all of this stuff. Like even the appetizers all sounded really good.
It was excellent. It was definitely
That's
up
good to
there.
hear.
We
Sure.
got the Wagyu, the
Nice.
A5. So only a handful of places have A5 Japanese in
Right.
Chicago, and I think we've been to all of them now. So that was
There's
part
one
of
that's
our
like, what's the
adventure.
restaurant that has like the sampler where you get like 5 different? Do you know that one? I can't remember the name of the place.
Yeah, I don't
There's a
remember.
place that has a sampler that has it, but it's one of them.
This one had the sampler of 3.
Oh,
we got
maybe
all 3.
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking
So,
A5 quantity and I mix up those numbers. It's
so
possible.
Prime and Provisions has a flight of A5.
Okay, then maybe
and
that's
what
I'm
we
thinking.
got, and it was the 3 different kinds of A5. And that's what we did for my husband's birthday.
That's really cool.
So, but we've been to, we went to Bavette's,
Yes.
which was fine. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't.
That's the word I would use.
Best
It was
of the
fine.
places we've been to. We've been to, RPM's up there. We love Gibson's Italia. Maestro's and Steak 48, and I mean the list. We've been to probably like 15 different steakhouses in the city. So every year we go out for a nice steak dinner, just the 2 of us, and that's what we usually do for his birthday. And then we actually wind up doing like a family birthday also for his birthday, because I feel like his parents and my parents like to do stuff for for his birthday. So this year we went for hibachi with the kids. So
that's cool. Yeah, I think I saw you posted about doing that as well. I got a special place in my heart for hibachi. I'm kind of like always in the mood for it.
We enjoy it. We haven't been in quite a while, so we thought it was time.
Yeah, same.
We have absolutely no traditions for my birthday whatsoever. Like literally at all. So sometimes we do
same
something.
with my husband.
Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have people over because my birthday's in the summer.
In the summer, right?
Sometimes
we go to Napa.
Do nothing. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, big birthdays I'm all in for the trip. So sure. Napa was the 40th, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But I don't really have like. Sometimes we do nothing. So it's not really a thing that we have a consistent outing or activity for me.
Yeah, that's kind of my husband's. I think, and I don't know, maybe time-wise, like when, the calendar, maybe that makes a difference for you, and maybe that's why Mike's birthdays are in the position they're in. His birthday is only a couple weeks after our anniversary. We tend to go out, which I'm noticing is coming up, and we have no plans. And it's 15, so it's kind of like, we should probably do something. But we tend to do like a fancy dinner out for the anniversary. So we don't necessarily always make a plan to do something for his birthday a couple weeks later. That's just, kind of how it plays out usually.
Our summer is usually so busy that I feel like we don't necessarily, and like, yes, December is also busy, but I feel like we make a point because it's like in between Christmas and New Year's to like take a day for us to not
well,
be
it's
doing
in a good spot though, because it's after Christmas and it's a few days after Brandon's birthday. So you're kind of in a good spot. I run into that problem a little bit with my birthday because Mike works so much
December.
in early December. And so like when we planned the dinner downtown this last round,
Mhm.
uh it kind of had to be when it was.
Because
Like
that was the only
his
time Mike had.
yeah, his
Yeah.
work schedule the way that it was at the time. And if we plan ahead, he can adjust and it's
Sure,
not
sure.
crisis. But
Yeah.
with the way his schedule was kind of falling at that time,
Mhm.
going on a Friday evening was kind of the best option schedule-wise for him.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, well, we're just
That's
going to
just
do
how
it
it
then,
works. Yeah, no, I
But
totally
I
get
think
that. Yeah.
in hindsight and in the long run, hypothetically, we would just work at that. He would work a different schedule on his Saturday because his normal
Hmm.
Saturday, he's usually at work at the dinner hour.
Yeah,
So we
time.
would just
Hmm.
kind of sort it out that there would be a Saturday where he would either skew early or, we
Hmm.
would do lunch or something or
Sure.
go to brunch on Sunday and
Yeah. That
kind of
sounds,
work that out.
yeah. Totally get that. Yeah, it's
So
harder. Each season has its own troubles because, like, you
yeah.
know, July for us, there's often either trips or sports or things or
Yes.
so it's definitely hard to fit everything in. So I get it. But yeah, so for me, we don't really have much. You know, we used to do one big birthday party for all three of my kids because obviously the
Right.
twins. Then the
Yeah.
oldest is one day after the twins, so they're all
Right.
right there. Last year, the twins wanted their own separate boy-girl parties, smaller. They started talking about it already, even though it's not till May. So I don't know what they're gonna do this year, what the plan will be, or any
Mm-hmm.
of that. But they definitely all of them have parties. My youngest, he has a tradition with his godmother that they always go to lunch and they go shopping for his
Oh,
birthday. And they do that
nice.
every year and they've been doing it for years now. So I'm sure they will pick a date to do that. And then usually my daughter does something, or more so now we're into the like do activities type age, so they usually
Sure.
try and do something together. Even my youngest godfather actually last year, instead of getting him something, he just took him golfing. So
Right.
like they make plans to do stuff with family members for their birthday or in honor of their birthday instead of necessarily getting gifts. So I'm liking
Nice.
those type of traditions where it's seeing people and spending time
I
together
like
and
that a
that
lot.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that transitions us very well into some of the birthday party ideas we've had in the past and like what we have going on.
Yeah.
I know I've talked about it many times before, but like we have rented out the pool in Bolingbrook a couple of times.
Hmm.
And I've always really liked that because you have a lot of freedom and flexibility.
Yeah.
You can invite a really large group of people. You don't really have to be counting heads.
Yeah.
They don't really
I
have
like
that
that.
restriction, which
Hmm.
is nice. You can bring food, you can bring drinks, you can do whatever. I
How's
mean,
the indoor part of that?
it's nice.
We actually
It's
thought
nice.
about
Like,
doing it for the kids
yeah,
because their birthday's May. It's too cold for
yeah, it's
outside,
too cold for outside.
but inside
It's
we could
got
totally do.
it's got two water slides and a zero
Yeah.
depth and a lap pool,
All
and it's
right.
got some splash pad type
Yeah.
stuff.
Area. Okay.
We talked about it for my youngest. His birthday's in February,
Yeah.
and that was on the short list for him this coming
Okay.
year. And he was just like, he wasn't super
Yeah.
pumped about it.
That's
I
all
will
right.
say that like the particular place in Bolingbrook does tend to book up pretty
Yeah.
fast. I have the email address of the lady who manages it, and I'll send it to you.
Oh, for sure. Please do.
Because she'll just tell you availability and you
Perfect.
can
Yeah.
and she'll send you the contract and she'll call you and take a deposit, do all of those things. It's
Awesome.
super easy.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely on the short list for us this year. Um, we did a Nerf party last year for my son. We
right.
did a like arts and crafts thing for my daughter. They both had sleepovers and um, I feel like I don't want people sleeping over. I don't want that many kids sleeping over at my house this year. So I
Yeah, I
like
was gonna say I have like a good and a bad list of things,
hmm
and like the pool was great. I've had parties at my house. I do not
not a fan.
enjoy
Yeah, that's
birthday
not fun.
parties at my house. It's too much for me. It's too
I
many
don't enjoy
kids.
it
Like I
either.
could barely handle the holidays with my family. I can't have 12,
A bunch of kids.
14
Yeah,
kids here. Like it's just I can't do it. Um,
agreed.
we have done a couple of places I've really liked. We're looking for my youngest settled on a place called Mishmash, which is in Aurora.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it, but we
It's
haven't been
kind
there.
of like an escape room, but it's
Yeah.
more like you go into each room and you're like solving a problem and racing against, like you're competing,
Oh,
and you're like,
cool.
so some of the problems are physical, some of the problems are mathematical, some of the problems are, problem solving, type stuff. And it
Cool.
sounds really cool. I've read very good things. We have not been there.
Okay.
He was super pumped about the idea. We watched like videos online about it. And so we booked his upcoming birthday party there. They are also
Sweet.
super flexible. Like it is like a
Oh,
per
nice.
person rate, but
Sure.
once you get over, I don't know, 10 or
A
15
certain amount of
kids,
people, if you add, yeah.
it's a discount and it includes the room and you can do whatever you want. You can bring
Nice.
food, you can decorate, you can bring cake, you can do whatever. Like
Cool.
um, and they seem really pretty laid back about, what timing and things like that. So I am
That's
very
cool.
excited about it. He is very excited about it. So we're doing that. We did talk about just doing an escape room, kind
Mm-hmm.
of more of an informal birthday where we would just invite whoever wanted to go to the escape room.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also kind of found, as much as I like that idea, 9 and 10-year-olds, it's kind of hard unless it's a kid oriented.
Yes. So,
We've done some
yeah.
as a family and we've failed. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I will say not I think I've never been to Mishmash, but it sounds cool and I've read about it. But my son just went to a escape room 10-year-old birthday party actually like a
oh,
few weeks
okay.
ago. And there's a place in Orland
I was
that
gonna say the place
has
in Orland.
Escapology has kid actually themed
Level. Yeah.
level escape rooms.
I've read
So,
about that place
yeah.
and have thought about
So
doing a
that would be
visit
the
out
only
there.
place that I would
Yes.
say, and we actually thought about just going as a family just to like check it out.
Right.
Um, but he went for a birthday party there and he actually had a really good time. So
That
if
is
even if it was like just a family outing to
Yeah,
there,
that
could
is
do
the
that.
place I was considering. It's same
Okay.
thing, same
Yep.
reason, same
Yep.
idea.
Hmm.
Because I had read that about that specific place.
Yeah.
And their escape rooms are supposed to be very good,
Mhm.
and and I thought that would be fun. He was sort of like maybe interested, but then,
Yeah.
like I said, I found Mishmash, and he's
Yeah.
really
No, that
excited.
sounds really cool.
On the bad
Awesome.
list, I
Hmm.
have, well, it's an up and a down. So we've
Okay.
been to trampoline parks that I have liked, but we've
Okay.
also been to ones that we've gotten violently ill after
Fair.
a
I
couple
also feel
times.
like there's just too many kids at those
There's too
places.
many kids. We went to this place
Too
in
many.
Naperville called Urban Air.
Yep, we've been there.
It's way too crowded. And
Yep.
also, we've been twice, and both times, two out of the three of us got horribly ill
Oh, that's
afterward.
not good.
That's too big of a number, Lauren. That's
It's
too
way
many.
too big.
That's too consistent.
Way too
Those
many
statistics,
times. Yes, the
those
percentage
statistics
there
are
is not
too
good.
high.
Not good.
I can't go back. We will
I
not go back.
agree.
Even my youngest, who
Yeah.
loves the idea of the place, I
Yeah.
was like, if somebody has a birthday there, we're not going. And he was like, oh no, I'm never going back there. And I was
Good.
like,
At
right.
least we're all on the same page here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. 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 We're all here.
We
Yeah.
like the bowling alley.
Mm,
That's
we like the
been
bowling alley
fun.
that has like some little arcade, little
Yeah,
bowling,
yeah.
like all of that. Yeah, we're good with those. We
Yeah,
like those.
bowling alley's cool. The roller rink, you and I have talked about that more
Hmm.
recently. The roller rink's
Yeah.
pretty cool, which is weird. Although I gotta be honest with you, I have a little bit of that like sadistic thing going on where when I see somebody like trip and fall, I have a hard time holding it
Not
together.
laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's fair. I get it.
I
Yeah.
a bunch of kids just wiping out on on the wood
Maybe
floor.
not the best
Ugh.
place for you to
It's
keep it
really hard for
together.
me to handle that. Yeah, I don't do well there.
That's fair. My daughter, I just found out, is getting invited to a birthday party at a roller rink soon.
Uh-huh.
The mom texted me, they're trying to figure out the date, but she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a roller skating party again." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, mentally prepare myself for breaking something."
Well, and that's the other thing. My youngest has gone for a couple of occasions, like a school thing and then a birthday
Hmm.
party. And like he plays soccer and he's been playing a lot of soccer. And I was
Hmm.
just like, dude,
Can't break
don't get
anything.
hurt.
Yeah,
If you
like,
get hurt, you won't get to play soccer for a while.
yeah,
Because, and he
yeah.
was just like, I never really thought about it. And I was like, I'm telling you, like,
Just
Just
so you know.
be smart. Like
Hmm. Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah,
yeah,
totally
and
agreed.
he was a little bit more mindful as a result, I think.
Hmm.
The only other birthday party we've had that I haven't been like super in love with was, and your kids were at this one. We had it at like the indoor soccer field
Yeah, the
place.
yard place, yeah.
It was fine. It was
No.
very expensive.
Mm.
They were pretty rigid about moving us along through the like
Very
little
like timing.
events.
Yeah. Hmm.
So like it was like there was like a big play place type area, and then you moved on to like a Nerf battle, and then there was
They had an
like
inflatables
soccer,
room,
yeah,
like
inflatables, that
soccer.
was
Yeah.
it.
They had the one room with a
And
bunch of inflatables, yeah.
it was cool. It was just like there was a part of me that was like, we probably could have done one of those the entire
Mm.
time or two
Yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Um, and that would have been great. And I will say that they were not like we had kids who stayed in the play place area. I think
Oh
even
yeah.
your oldest hung out there longer after they
Yeah,
moved on.
that's true. Yeah.
And it was nice to allow for that, like that it was
Hmm.
that if he's not going to do the Nerf battle, he can just keep going
Hang
through the
out
play
here.
place and
Yeah.
hang out. And there were other kids,
Hmm.
especially littler
There were a
ones,
couple
that
younger kids, yeah.
really liked being able to do that, which was good.
Hmm.
Um, it was just, eh, it
Yeah.
was all right. We got
Okay.
the
That's
party
yeah.
room after, and we were in there briefly, and
I
everybody
feel
had a
like we weren't even
cupcake,
in
and
there for
then
that long,
I know it was really, really short. Like part
right?
of me was
Yeah.
sort of like, why did we even have it? Why didn't I just give you a cupcake and you went on your way? Like we could have played
Yeah, you could
longer, you know?
right, you could have played longer and I could have just handed this off as like here's your present. You know
Yeah,
what I
I could have
mean?
gotten
Like
little boxes for the
yeah,
cupcakes and you
yeah.
could have taken it for the road, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. But
I
that's
eh,
not uncommon though. Like my son just went to a birthday party last weekend that was at essentially the same thing, but it was in Burridge or Willowbrook, but
okay.
I think it was like Burridge Sports Yard or something. And it was just a
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
like open things, and one was like soccer and one was basketball, and like
Uh-huh.
that was just what they did for 2 hours was just like run around. But they didn't serve any food, any dessert. It was literally just 2 hours of playing sports, and that's all they did.
Oh,
So
I mean, I
and
guess
I was
that's
like,
cool.
that's fine. But it was from like 3 to 5. So it was like after lunch, like right before dinner, and that was like the party.
Okay.
So I was like, I mean, all right,
That's another one. I'm
fine.
kind of a big fan of not having to provide like a full
Feed people.
meal.
Like, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it also increases the odds that you're gonna come down with something. Because it's
Yeah.
not like the kids are all gonna wash their hands before they eat
God, no.
pizza.
Yeah. Totally
And
not.
so I kind of like this birthday for my son that's coming up.
Mhm.
It's not at noon or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's at like 2,
Sure. Yeah.
and it's 2 hours or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
just so yeah, you're gonna get a cupcake, and I'm sure my mother will make goodie
We'll make
bags
some sort of goodie bag. Yeah.
that will have candy in them.
Probably.
Somebody will do it.
I'm sure.
And
Yeah.
and although maybe I'll just for fun, I'll make goodie bags, but it'll just be like cheap garbage toys that make
Oh
noise,
God.
and I'll give those out. Like
Those.
whistles, like the slide whistle one
Oh
maybe.
no. No. Not. I'm just leaving it.
I know.
I don't
I
want that.
know.
Take it away. Take it away.
Oh no, we're
Oh,
good. We have plenty of
oh,
those.
we've got enough. Thank
No,
you.
thank you.
Yeah.
I have enough trash in my house.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm telling you. I don't need any more trash in my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then my daughter's a little bit harder. I feel like there's a decent amount of like my son also contemplated doing like a video game truck or
Oh
like,
yeah. I
you
read
know,
about that a
there's a
bit. Yeah.
handful of things. But now I'm like, okay, what about for little girls? Because she's already done a arts and crafts thing. And that's like the majority of the girly things is like arts and crafts. Like
I don't
so
know.
you can like
Could
paint
you do
something or do
like
pottery, but
could you do tea at the Drake?
maybe I
She
could
might
do
like
that for a
that.
small group,
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
like a
you could
couple
take enough
girls.
to fit in your car, like
Yeah,
four
my
or
car
five
fits.
or
Yeah, I
something.
could fit 7 people in my car. So if I pick like 4 little girls and like a mom, I could
Or your mother
probably,
or something.
yeah,
Well.
do that because I could definitely fit.
Yeah.
I could fit 4 or 5 girls. I could do
Well,
that.
I actually was
Yeah.
talking to your friend, Barb. She
Oh.
posted
Mhm.
something about, she's like kind of a makeup artist,
Yes.
sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. She's
And
getting it. She's definitely into all of that.
I
Yes.
presented that to her as a business idea. to
Oh.
do parties for young girls where
Oh,
you
yeah.
teach them how to
Teach them
do
how
their
to do
makeup
makeup. They
and you
used to
give
do
them
that
like a
for
little
like
kit.
Avon and Mary Kay
Yeah.
and stuff. They totally used to have parties of that
And
when
I
we were
was like,
kids.
you could do this. This could be a business for you. And
Yeah.
you could do it whenever you feel like it. And you could try to come up with cost-effective ways to put together little
Little
kits,
kits. Yeah.
and you could
Hmm.
bring each, you could have enough kits for
That could be
everyone,
like
charge
a,
for your time,
yep.
and
Yeah.
do a quick demo where you just
Hmm.
show girls how to put on,
Actually, yeah. Yeah.
eyeshadow and lipstick and
Hmm.
blush and just
Yep.
little,
Yeah.
And
No,
she
that
was
totally.
like, I love that idea. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, it's yours.
Yeah. You do
Because
that.
I'm
It's
not going to
not
do
mine. Yeah.
it.
I'm not doing this.
If you need to
So
start a business, I will help
I
you
can
do
help
that.
with that piece of it, but not the actual doing the makeup part. But no, when we were kids, like I swear I went to a Mary
Yeah.
Kay party. I
Yeah,
know
I
I
think you're
did.
right. I think
Like
you're right.
somebody had one. I think it was Jamie. I don't know, but somebody
Yeah,
had a
that
Mary
sounds
Kay
right.
party and like had someone there to be like, this is how you do this, or this is how you use this, or all of
Mm-hmm.
those things. I know I went to those as a kid. And though my daughter has never been to one, that might not be a horrible idea to even my
I don't
daughter's
know.
super like I don't know, apparently 9 is when you get into makeup.
I was about to
So,
ask that question. I was like, is she
yeah,
at that
it's
age?
there. Yep. Yeah, she got
Because, well,
makeup kits for
my friend
Christmas
Linda's
and
daughter has just turned 10.
okay.
And
Yep.
like, I was like, what does she want for her birthday? And she was like, oh, she wants makeup. And I was like,
Yep.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not buying
So
that.
so my
Does
daughter
she want a
has
Nerf
like
gun?
yeah, I can do that. My daughter has this we bought it at Ulta. It's like a makeup kit. It's just a starter
Nice.
kit, but like
Yeah.
the lid lights up and is a mirror and it plugs
Oh,
in and I'm like I'm going to use
that's
your mirror cuz I
nice.
need a
Yeah,
lamp.
right. That's
Um,
wonderful.
but then her godmother bought her a like starter skincare set. Like this is what she used for moisturizing, for cleansing, for this.
Oh,
Like here's an acne
dang.
treatment because this is the age. Like,
Yeah,
and that's
sure.
what like
Yeah.
her Christmas present was how to do all of this skincare. And so yeah, apparently
Wow.
9 is the age of which that you start caring about that.
Well, put
So
that on Barb's list too. Skincare. I like that. She could probably
oh,
do that too. Put
yeah,
that in the
any
birthday
of
party.
that.
She could
You
offer
throw that
both
in with little
options.
like samples of stuff. This is a great, yeah,
I
no, I'm
mean,
totally in.
Ulta sells travel sizes of
Yeah,
everything
I
that
know, and they have sales periodically, like really
I,
good ones. You could just stock up
yeah. I
on
mean,
that.
I buy travel size stuff at
Oh
Ulta.
yeah.
Whenever I buy anything at Ulta,
Uh-huh.
I buy like a lot of hair care stuff at Ulta.
Yeah.
Whenever I
Hmm.
buy anything at Ulta, I just go into the travel
The
size
travel site. I
category and
always go there.
buy
Yeah, totally. Hmm.
little,
Yep.
hair stuff mostly, like I said, but little anything
Anything
that,
else that looks like I might want to
yeah,
try it. It's
face
a great
wash.
way to try
I
things
love
and to
travel size face wash.
yeah,
It's just like the
I love
best.
same. I totally agree. All right, this is a good idea. You know what?
There
I
you
might
go.
even
Yeah.
propose something like that for my daughter for her
You
birthday.
could
But
impromptu this with
hmm
Barb if
oh
you,
yeah,
could rope her in. You could
yeah.
just,
Totally. Yeah, totally. But
yeah,
good ideas, good ideas. I
yeah,
like them. Yeah, different
right.
parties as our kids get older. So a
Yeah.
little different feel than it used to be. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I like it. I like it. All right, let's
Yeah.
open this other
Let's drink.
pecan
Go
ale.
nuts.
I love the name.
Go nuts.
Peaux, go
Yes.
nuts. Ale brewed with Louisiana pecan.
Just gonna pour a little bit of this one
Yeah, because you're
because
gonna hate it. So,
I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
hmm.
We're gonna figure, is there a type of beer that this
I
is?
was
It just says
literally
ale.
just ale. That's what I was
Okay.
trying to figure out.
Because
Like,
I
what
was
are
like,
you? Are
what
you a
exactly
brown
am I
ale? Are
drinking?
you an ABA? Are
Definitely
you?
not.
It's
Doesn't
not
smell
anything
that
with,
strong.
no, there's like no, it's just like a, I don't know what this is. It's just an ale.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I
I
have
mean, I
no
do
idea
get,
what beer style this is.
I do get pecan in the aftertaste. So to kind of bring us, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
what?
not super strong pecan though. I expected,
No, I
and
was
maybe because the
afraid.
last nut beer we had was the taffy apple taff, whatever
Ugh.
the heck that was,
Yeah.
and that is like
Affy yeah.
over the top, like fake nutty caramel flavor. I was
Yeah.
expecting. This is fine. Like this
Yeah,
is.
this is fine. I will drink this. Like,
Mhm. This has a
Um,
little bit of the pecan flavor, but it's not in your face. It
no,
tastes almost like a mild, I don't know what this is, like a mild APA almost, or
I'm
just like
looking this up and
okay,
I'm getting, it says that it's a brown ale.
okay.
Another, but it doesn't,
I was
it's, I guess going from Turbo Dog to this
I think
is,
I was gonna say brown ale, but I looked at Turbo Dog and was like, well, it's not that. But I think Turbo Dog is on the bold side of brown, and I
okay.
think that Go Nuts it is like a brown ale with just some
Um,
flavor, some like adjunct type
yeah,
flavor to it.
I think it's just kind of on the other side of the spectrum of, I mean, now I'm reading a little bit more. Feels
I
like
don't know if
somebody
I
deleted their post about it being a brown ale.
I don't think it doesn't taste
No, I don't think it's a brown ale. That can't be right.
brown ale to me. This tastes more like I don't know.
It tastes like a German lager that's got a pecan flavor. That's what I'm
That's
getting.
fair. Like a pilsner
Which, but
almost, like a
it's not a lager.
it's not. It's an ale, but it also says brewed with pale Munich biscuit and caramel malts. So the Munich and pale malts feel kind of Germany. Um,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
like
know.
super lost on what this beer is.
Well, you guys, we've officially been stumped. It took almost 4 years for us to
Yeah.
drink something that we just can't figure out. I mean, it's not to say anything negative about it.
No, no,
It's
it's
just
just a
usually we'll
unique.
take a drink and we're like, oh, this is a blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I would believe that that's because I have enough experience that I like have tried enough things that I can equate it with something else.
Yeah.
And I can't side by side this. I can't put this next to something else and be like, it tastes a lot like this,
Yeah,
you know?
I think the closest thing might be a brown ale, but this
Mm-hmm.
isn't anything like their Turbo Dog brown
Yeah,
ale.
I
Like
guess
this is
that's
nothing
valid.
like that. But if you compare this to a different brand's brown ale, I feel like it would be somewhat similar, just a little bit more nutty. It's
Yeah,
malty. It's,
yeah,
those kind of flavor profiles. Um, I think just partially because we just drank a very bold brown ale. This takes
right.
nothing like that. But I can see where this does have some of those flavors. But it's different. It's a unique beer. Like I said, it is also another beer that's relatively easy to drink. It's got a pretty mild aroma. I wasn't overwhelmed by the smell of it, and
Okay.
it's not overwhelmingly pecan to me. It has a
No,
hint of it, but it's
right,
not like in your face nutty
right.
flavor, which is actually a bonus to me that it only has
I
like
agree.
a little bit of that nutty flavor. I much prefer that, and I'm glad it's not like over the top nutty. But it's
Right.
got some malt, it's got a little bit of caramel, it's got, that kind of German feel to it, probably from some of the you know, what it's made from, I guess, from the malts. It is quite malty to me. So, I don't know. It's interesting,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not bad. I was expecting worse, I think. And this is actually a very drinkable beer to me.
Yes.
So,
I feel the same way about it. I
yeah.
think those are all valid assessments.
So, yeah. I like the Turbo Dog
So,
though, actually. That's a
yes,
pretty
me too.
but
That one
cool.
worked
All
out.
right. I
All
like it.
right,
Well, try Abita if you see it around.
totally.
And this was fun. Let us know what your favorite birthday traditions are, and we got some things to check out for future parties.
Totally. Yeah,
Love it.
thanks for joining us, you guys.
Cool. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week and cheers to you all.